Today I want to talk about something that the Trump administration has been doing this week. They've been spending our taxpayer dollars to destroy food that's already been paid for. We have food sitting in a warehouse that's ready to go to feed 1.5 million starving children, and we are paying US tax dollar money to destroy it. A few nights ago, our senators voted to claw back billions of dollars. This is money that they had already spent, they'd already voted to spend, and Trump told them no, so they're voting to undo it. In other words, they're not doing their duty. And the truth is, when it comes to foreign aid, we spend about 1% of our budget. And this is food that goes to starving people. This is medicine that goes to people who are dying. And we spend a very, very small percentage of it. Elon was bragging about putting USAID in the wood chipper because he wanted to destroy it. Well, the reality is this money is not just going, we're not sending buckets of money to other countries. A lot of this money goes to farmers right here in Texas. It goes to companies that are making healthcare, they're making pharmaceuticals. Much of it is being spent in America. The jobs, the people who are doing this are Americans. There's another important part of our US interest that is served. Imagine you're in a country where you have starving children, where you have these problems going on, and you see boxes of supplies showing up with American flags on them. You're gonna think, well, America's a pretty good country. You know, they're gonna love America. America's helping us. And when you see us take those away, you're gonna think, what the heck's wrong with America? Why are they doing this to us? You know who hates US aid? Russia and China. For years, Russia and China have been complaining about this. You can see in articles, they just lose their minds when we send this aid to countries in Africa, Middle East, and Asia, because it undermines their desire to take over these places. You know who used to love USAID? Our very own Marco Rubio. Take a listen.
I think sometimes in the press and in the minds of many, our foreign aid is exaggerated. It really is a minuscule part of our overall budget, and it's not the reason why we have this growing debt in America. Foreign aid is important. If it's done right, it spreads America's influence around the world in a positive way.
Look, foreign aid is probably the best bang for our buck. When it comes to money that the US government spends, we get so much return on investment. It helps our soft power. You know, when we're influencing the world for good, there's so many things that come back. We can prevent conflict. We can prevent a new generation of terrorists. And when we don't do that, bad things happen. Unfortunately, the only moral North Star that MAGA has often is what Donald Trump says. Even when they're cutting out food and aid, you know, that we're burning food for 1.5 million children. There was a study last week. It says that if we continue down the path that we're on, if we continue to destroy the food and cut back on these programs, over the next 5 years, 14 million people are gonna die. Just wrap your brain around that. 14 million people are gonna die. John Cornyn and Ted Cruz know better. They know that Congress has the power of the purse, not the president, yet they have subjugated their duties, they have shirked their responsibility and handed it over to Donald Trump. That is wrong. Once again, John Cornyn has shown a lack of courage and conviction and common sense. Texans deserve a senator who know real strength and who will do the right thing and serve Texans and nobody in Washington, D.C. And that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate.